It's a quick update. Going through and doing the first kind of sketch up of what I want. I made a change. Instead of going with a bullet tweeter, I'm actually going to go with two just smaller regular dome tweeters. The reason is I didn't want to make this whole thing, I'd have to make it kind of big, and I want to leave more room for the 8 and everything, which has already kind of gotten pushed out. But so two 6.5s, one each there, and then a tweeter and a tweeter. So I think that'll make up, having two tweeters instead of one super. I think that'll make up for it. So I use paper. I just find it easier than cardboard. Take, whatever you need, and then kind of go from there, and you can add on or whatever. So you can see I have a bunch of lines, and thought about doing something. Oh no, I don't want to do that. Cross it out. So this is kind of how I work. And now I'm gonna basically cut the initial template, and then kind of just see how that looks, and then tweak it from there. And then I'll work on the mid base that I'll go over in this area. But yeah, I just find paper easier than cardboard, easier to add on to if you want to or want to change things. So a little bit of a pain because it's so windy. So came up with this yesterday. Show you later. Kind of turned out. Slept on it, and I think I'm gonna scrap it. I was gonna change the 2 tweets and whatnot, but I'm just not feeling it. So I'm gonna give it another go, and then. All right. So I know it's really similar to what it was and that I said no to, but it is slightly different. But came up with kind of a new design, I guess you could say. More of an iteration of the other one. There's really not much more I can do if I want to keep 2 6.5s. So I'm honestly thinking if I want to go either 1 8 or maybe even a 10, and then a super tweeter. But I'm thinking that 2 6.5s are going to give me a bit more. So I'm going to keep that, and then there is the, I guess you could say, updated version of where the mid base will be. Making sure to keep it away from the hole. So when I do the thing there, I'll be able to, put a hole there. I think what I'm going to do is when I drill the hole through the fiberglass, I'll put like a grommet, just so it looks at least somewhat supposed to be there. So what I've done now is basically taken my template and then basically marked off everywhere I need to cut to fit the speakers. So I want to cut as little as I have to fit them. So like the mid base, I'm just gonna basically cut out a little area there. Yeah, so that's it for now. I'm gonna clean up the templates and then get the wood going. The one thing I don't like about this is just because the door is small, and because I wanted to make it look, like I said, somewhat like we'll call it super stock, or an upgrade to a stock stereo. Stock upgrade is because I'm going so close, relatively close to, like, this inner ring for the 6.5 or the tweet is the outer diameter of the speaker. So obviously there isn't a lot of room there. So I'm not going to be able to do like a true flush mount how I would personally want. But I think what I'm going to end up doing is actually making, I'll somewhat try to mount them flush. Instead of using a 1/2 inch piece of board, I might do a 3/4 inch, and then just go in maybe a 1/4 inch or whatever, 1/8 inch for the tweeters and all that stuff. So they will be flush mounted. But then what I'm going to do is I'll just take this and make a small, real thin, like 1/8 inch piece of wood, and I'll make a grill cover for both of them. And I think that'll get me by. But yeah, trying to fit all this in a relatively small area is kind of making it to, you know, got to make some compromises, but it's either that or go up to a single 8 or 10. But I think
So
this is the best,
show you guys
best
something.
compromise. Once again, just my process of work, not necessarily how you should do it. But so I'm going and I got some, luckily I found 4 pieces of wood where I don't have to just scrap wood, where I didn't have to get a new, you know, use a new piece of wood. But so I'm basically tracing, and what I did, once again, just my process, is I got the flat part and, you know, put that against the end, and then traced around. And as you can see here, because on the original template, it kind of had a weird angle and then went flat for a while, you know, and then went around. So what I did is just kind of free-handed, you know, where I wanted it to go now that I kind of see it. Another example is kind of on this side here. I got some kind of weird, you know, angle going on there. But what I'll do is I'll cut it, and then once I have both sides cut, I put them together, and then I'll sand them together, and then they'll be perfect, or they'll be as similar as they can be. The other thing, just to remember, and once again, you don't have to do this, but you know, do one that way and then flip it over and do one that way. Once again, that's just for me more of a visual thing. Once again, you don't have to do it, because yeah, if you do 2 like this and then you just flip it over, it's going to be fine. But once again, me, just a visual thing. But as you can see, I kind of did the same thing there. And then basically once they're both cut, like I said, I put them together and use a sander, and then they'll be together. And so yeah, I'm going to get to cutting now, and then we'll go to the next step.